Hey guys, welcome to Multimedia. I wanted to take a moment to kind of walk you guys through the Apple world, Mac computers, what's different about a Mac from a Windows or Linux computer. So those of you who have iPhones are probably a little more familiar with how a Mac computer might work. Same with an Apple Watch or iPad or iPod or anything from the Apple world. The first thing that I want to show you is I'm actually going to go click on this Apple right here. And this is how you can shut down your computer, sleep, log out, anything like that. But what I'm going to do first and foremost is go under System Preferences. I'm going to click on the mouse, and I'm actually going to change. It might look like there's only one button on here, but there is a left and right click button. So I want to change my right click to the secondary button. So this makes it so you can right click something. I think that's pretty important to have. Another thing that you can do is you can actually change your tracking speed, so it kind of like bounces around like really quickly. I don't really like that. That's a little crazy for me, so this is a pretty good speed. Maybe somewhere like in the middle would be good. Okay. So another thing that I would like to go ahead and talk about here is this portion at the bottom of your screen, and this is called your dock. So on here, it's really up to you what you keep on your dock. I recommend keeping things that you primarily use on a daily or weekly basis. So this is kind of what your dock comes with the exception of QuickTime Player. That is actually what I'm screen recording with right now. So again, if you have an iPhone, a lot of these applications might look familiar to you. For instance, here is Maps. This is something that I don't like to keep on my dock because I am staying in this room. I'm not really traveling anywhere. So I like to either right click this, options remove from dock, whoops. Or you can, I'm going to take the calendar off too, you can actually drag it to this trash can here, and it doesn't completely delete the application, it just takes it off of your dock by doing that. I have a different mail carrier. I don't like to set mine up, so I actually move this over. Whenever you hover over the trash can, it does say remove from dock, so that's how you know. Okay, the first thing in your dock is called the Finder. It's this little like half-faced man. This is pretty important because for those of you who are Windows people, this is kind of like your My Computer. So you can kind of find all of your documents and everything on here. I'm going to talk about this one in a couple minutes. Adobe, Photoshop, and InDesign are obviously Adobe products. I also like Illustrator, so I like to add this to my dock, but you can add, the Adobe products that you use most frequently. This right here is Siri. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Siri or Alexa. You can kind of, ask her questions. I don't really like to use this in the classroom, so I'm going to get rid of that. Safari. This is your internet browser. I'm not positive, but I don't think it will allow you to download Firefox or Google Chrome. We'll see what it allows you to do this year. Our filter system does get a little bit funky. Contacts, I don't need that. Notes I like to keep, not fully necessary, but reminders are nice because you can actually make a list of things that you need to do and check them off. I don't need that. These are my photos, messaging, and FaceTime. These are great functions, and I do use them on my laptop, but I don't use them on this desktop in school. This function will actually be disabled for you guys, so you might as well just go ahead and take these off. Okay. So now we get to Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. These are 3 different applications that are exclusive to Apple. They are basically your Apple version of Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. Personally, I don't know if there's like much of a difference, but I do find that these 3 applications are a lot easier to use than Microsoft. So I like them. However, if I make a Pages document, not just anybody can open it. Really only those who have a Mac and Pages can open it. You can save it as a Microsoft Word document, but anyways, I do like it because it gives you a little more freedom for moving around images and tables and fonts and all that stuff. But it's just good to keep in mind that when you're in this class, this is a great program to use. However, it's not really good for everyday functions because you might have to send something to a teacher and they might not have Pages, so they might not be able to open it. Obviously iTunes, which you have limited access to in here. You do have access, but you can't really download music. So iBooks I won't be using. This right here is your app store. You don't really have access to this in here either. Cannot connect to App Store, but throughout the summer and throughout the year, we will have the updates updated. Okay, now we're back to system preferences. Right here is your download folder. Anything that you download from the internet will show up on here. And then this is your trash. Anything that you throw away, you can bring to the trash. You can see I've only had one thing on this computer. This does take up space, but not a ton, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. I kind of like to keep my trash bin full because oftentimes I delete things and I think I'm done with them, and then later I'm like, oh crap, I need it. So it is nice to be able to go back to it, but if you're somebody who has like a zillion things on your computer, a zillion things in your trash bin, this does take up a lot of space. So you can then click empty, empty trash, and then it makes that cool noise. So that's where we're at with the, the basis of the docs. Another thing that I want to show you guys is if you want to change your background, which this is really beautiful, and these are gorgeous Retina screens, but you can actually go under System Preferences. We'll go to Desktop and Screensaver. And here is where you can change. These are other ones that come with the Mac computer. It's completely up to you. If you like any of these, or you can upload your own picture, make your own picture, anything like that. That's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of these screensavers. The one that I have on my computer right now is a photo wall, and I actually filled the images with a bunch of different projects from my students from last year. So I enjoy that. You can go through and kind of really edit however you want. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk briefly about Finder. So if you click on Finder, this is essentially everything that is on your computer. So like I was saying, it's kind of like the My Computer in the Apple world. Let's start with AirDrop. For those of you who are familiar with AirDrop, this is something that you can use. There's my computer right here. I'm on a different student's computer right now, but you can actually send images to your phone, to your iPad, your computer, to somebody else's computer using AirDrop without losing any quality. And I do have a separate video to kind of explain AirDrop if you guys are interested in that. Recents are your recent documents, and you can see this is the first time I've logged on this computer, so I do not have any. iCloud Drive, I don't really connect to that here. I think our system is a little funky. It kind of makes me nervous to do that, so I don't. Applications, this one's pretty important. So at the top here, you can see that these are all of our Adobe products. So if I wanted Adobe Illustrator, I would double click this folder here, and I can see that this is the application. So I'm going to click and drag this down onto my dock. I actually use Illustrator more than any other Adobe program, so I definitely want that on there. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to continue to go down here, and you can see some other applications that we have. Oh, this actually does have Firefox, so you can, so just like I took the messages out and I dragged it to the trash bin, just like I've showed you guys, this does not actually delete the messages, it just takes it off the dock, which is pretty nice. Anything else that you find useful, you can move down in your dock. I definitely want to move down Microsoft Word. I like to put it right next to Pages, so they're kind of, they're kind of the same thing, so I just like to put them next to each other. I have my Excel, like my numbers, and then PowerPoint, kind of like Keynote. I never, really need iTunes in my dock, and I don't think I use InDesign as much as I would like to. Oh, it doesn't want me to remove it from dock. That's interesting. I'll have to learn more about that. I'm not sure why it doesn't want me to remove that, but yeah, that's pretty much it. You can kind of scroll through these applications, see if there's anything that you might want. Desktop, these are all of my files that are saved to my desktop, which there are not any documents. There are not any, but oftentimes a lot of students save their projects and they're like, oh crap, I can't find it. I don't know where I saved it. It probably saved in documents. So you definitely want to make sure and check there. But you can also go under recents, and this will bring up everything from everywhere, just kind of chronologically when the last time you opened it was. And downloads, anything that you download, fonts, videos, music, whatever, that would be under here. Yeah, so my Finder is pretty important. I use that pretty commonly, and that's pretty much it for getting started on a Mac computer.